Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever you are. How's everyone? This is Bruno Souza, and we're going to have one more of the Speaker Secret Initiatives. Very good to have you all here. So if you can hear me, if you can see me, can you go on the chat on this side and say hello? Just say hello. Tell me where you're from. And actually, if you want to go ahead, you can tell me if you have a talk that you want to present, that you're preparing for a talk, right? So, we're doing the Speaker Secrets Initiative, so we can actually get the best tips from the best speakers to help you become a better speaker, right? So, let me kind of see here. I see Rodrigo from Rio. Hey, Rodrigo, how are you doing? And actually, Rodrigo is the guy behind here. He's helping us out on the backstage, right? So I see Ray from Amsterdam. Hey, Ray, how are you doing right there, man? And I see Sebastian from Ottawa, Canada, or how people like to say Ottawa, right? I say Ottawa, but that's Brazilian, right? So Ottawa, Canada. That's great. So very, very good to see all of you there. So I'm assuming you can hear me okay, right? Okay, so very good to have you all here. Lots of people coming in. And so let me kind of tell you the news right there, right now, immediately, and what we're going to do about it, right? So Rebecca could not join us, right? She just messaged us a few minutes before we started. She has a big issue at her company. Something's terribly wrong over there. And so she had to cancel, right? But we're not canceling anything, right? Because that's part. I wanted to use this. Actually, I'm telling you all of these because I want to use this to tell you this happens, right? As a speaker, if you're speaking at a conference, for example, as a speaker, that does happen, right? Sometimes things do happen really bad. Sometimes your co-speaker disappears, right? We had a friend of ours that his co-speaker simply couldn't come to the event in the last minute. Sometimes something happens to you, right? We actually had a friend a few years ago where he was about to go on the stage and he received the news that his father had died, right? Very, very difficult moment for him, right? And sometimes other things go wrong, right? And so what do? Well, we keep the show going, right? And there's a lot of people coming, a lot of people participating. So we're going to come here, and the whole objective for us here is so we're going to reschedule Rebecca, right? So you're registered on the Speaker Secret, so you're going to receive the email when we reschedule her, and she's going to come in probably sometime next week or maybe even this week. I'm not sure. I'm waiting for her to message us back to get the right information. And so we're gonna reschedule it. That's okay. But one thing that we're gonna do is that we're all here. We want to help you improve your presentation, right? We want to help you be a better speaker. So we have 130 questions that you already sent us, right? When you first registered, you got a form, and on that form, you ask it what is the biggest challenge that you're going through. So we have 130 questions already in the system here, right? So we're gonna go over those questions, but those are the questions that you ask it when the form was filled, right? So. But right now, when you come to this presentation, you may have something different, right? Rebecca. So what I wanted you to talk about, right? What I wanted you to ask right now is, since we're gonna have a conversation here, me and you guys, right? So I wanna ask you, what is the biggest challenge that you're going on right now? What is the biggest challenge that's with your presentations, right? What is the biggest thing that prevents you from being a great speaker, or that what kind of fear that you have, what kind of difficulty you have? Are you gonna go to are you gonna do a presentation the next month? Are you going to do a presentation? Are you coming to Code One, for example? Are you going to do a presentation there? So this is the time that I'm going to be here to mentor you in whatever question you might have, whatever discussion you might want. So I'm asking you right now, type on the chat, what is the biggest challenge that you are going on right now? You know, is it your next presentation? Is it your is it something that you want to improve in your talks? What is the biggest challenge that you are going on with your presentation right now? So while you're thinking about this, what the biggest challenge, I'm going to briefly talk about the topic that Rebecca was going to talk about. That, you know, do you need to be an expert to be a speaker, right? That is a very, very good point. So I'm gonna, so if you're coming here because you know, you are you're worried about, you're not an expert, you know, and you want to speak anyway, you want to share your knowledge, or you know, you come here because you think you're not an expert, so you don't have anything to say, right? You know, a lot of times we do this. We come, you know, we come to a conference, right? And we expect the speaker, the guy there, to be an expert, right? That's why we did. That's why we're watching the presentation. That's why we come, right? So, and the question is the speaker always a top expert, right? Are you afraid of being because we start speaking? Are you worried about starting a blog, for example, because you're not an expert on something? Well, so we're going to start with that question, okay? Why you think about your question right now? I see Rodrigo typing me some of the topics as in the forum. Prepare submissions, choosing the right topic, how to give my first talk, right? So those are some of the questions, but we have lots more. So come on, you tell me what is the thing that you're going on? Ray, Sebastian, right? Baslur, you guys tell me what's going on. What's the biggest challenge that you're going on? And that's what we're gonna discuss today. So before I start with this, the Speaker Secrets is an initiative where we are interviewing a lot of important speakers, a lot of famous speakers, to actually, because you know there's only one way for you to learn something very well, right? Is if you're working with you know, if you know what the experts are doing, so you can repeat what the experts are doing, repeat enough times that you can create your own style, right? That works for everything, right? You know, it works for coding, works for music, it works for anything, especially for presentations, right? Presentations, you know, it's very, very important that you see what the people that are considered the best speakers do, so you can improve your talk. So that's what we're doing. We're bringing in lots of speakers, so we learn from them what is it they do that works, and so we can improve our speaking engagement. Okay, so and you should have received it by joining here or by joining at the site WeCodeForLife/code1, right? Code-1. If you, by joining that site, you receive it email with a login and a password, so you can access the Speaker Secrets portal. The Speaker Secrets portal is the place where we are getting all of the content that we have, everything that we're doing here. We're putting all this content on the Speaker Secrets portal. So all the recordings of all the videos, all of the mentorship, all of the suggestions that the speakers gave. You know, lots of speakers suggested like books and other things, right? And they suggested videos and things like this. So we're going to put all of these into the speakers portal, you know, into the Speaker Secrets portal. So if you haven't logged into the Speaker Secrets portal yet, please take a look at your email and make sure that you can access the Speaker Secrets portal, because that's where all this information is going to be. And you know, this can make a big difference for you once you have that. Okay. All right. So with that, let me start with this one topic. Do I need to be an expert to be a speaker, right? And I want to know from you, what do you think? Hey, Sebastian, what do you think? Do you think you need to be an expert to be a speaker? So a lot of people are preventing. A lot of people don't speak. They don't write blogs. They don't share their own knowledge because they have this thinking that the only way for me to share my knowledge is if I am an expert, right? And so I need to be an expert so I can share my knowledge. The problem with that idea is that, I like to say this, that you think that you think when you think, but in truth, you only think when you speak, right? So the truth is, it's very hard for you to be an expert on anything if you don't share, right? So as your path to become an expert, you have to share, right? You have to share with your friends. You have to share, with your coworkers. You have to share with people on Twitter. You have to share with anyone, right? So as a path to become an expert, sharing is amazingly important. So it is not true that everyone that comes in front of an audience is necessarily an expert, right? But because they're sharing, they're going to become more and more an expert than they are right now. So this is the thing that I want you to think about. This is the thing that I want you to consider, that, for you to become even more expert than you already are, then you have to go and share with people, right? That's weaker. It's amazingly important for your career. It's amazingly important for you in general, right? Even for your expertise. So, so go ahead, go share. Seriously, and then people think, but Bruno, I'm not such an expert. And why how can I actually do this? How can I actually go and start sharing with people? Remember that if you're not such an expert, if you don't know a lot about that stuff yet, you're probably not going to be accepted to the top conferences, right? So there's not going to be a lot of people coming to you and talking to you. And that does not prevent you from talking, right? From sharing. So, go ahead and share with whoever wants to listen to you, right? Share, we know one thing that I do a lot of talks, right? And I do talks for, hundreds, thousands of people sometimes. But I had in my life that my talks are not very good unless I've done them at least 3 times. So, the 4th time I do a talk, that's when I feel comfortable with the talk. The first 3 times I'm doing the talk, I'm not very comfortable with. I don't know what I'm going to say. It's the wrong order. I don't have a connection between topics. It's not, you heard that thing that the 3rd time is a charm, right? For me, the 4th time is a charm, right? So because of that, if I have a big talk to give, like a presentation or a keynote or anything that's important, right? Anything that's, anything, all my talks are important, right? Let me make this clear, because the audience being there is what's important. But when there's a talk, there's going to be lots of people, right? So a talk that has to be a good talk. A talk that's going to be recorded, for example. Then what I do is I make sure that I present that talk at least 3 times before I walk into the stage. And so there's few ways you can do this, right? So I can come in, for example, in my office, and I say to people in the office, say, hey guys, I'm going to do a presentation tonight about this topic. Whoever wants can come. Those are all my friends. And, they're going to ask questions. They're going to interrupt me. They're going to bash me sometimes. Say, that's wrong. Or, that's great. So that's the first time. Another thing that I do a lot is we have some technical schools around where I live. And so I'm friends with all the teachers there. So I call them up and say, look, I have a new talk. can I come to present to your group? So let me explain to this. This is high school level students, right? They're learning computers. It's technical school about programming. They learn computers, they're learning Java, but it's high school level. So what I do is I go to them and then I will present my talk to the audience. And of course, it's not going to be the exact same talk that I'm going to present at Java 1, for example, right? Or another large event, but it's, it's going to be a way for me to present the idea and to present what I want to say, and I'll get comfortable with the connections and the ideas and everything, right? And then, then another thing I do from time to time is I come on Twitter and say, hey guys, I'm going to do a presentation. It's Twitter or Facebook or any kind of social network, and I say, look, I'm going to do a presentation now, and would you like to come? And then a few people show up sometimes, and then I present live, like I'm doing here with you guys. I present live online, and I present my talk. So all of those are ways for me to present my talk way before I'm actually presenting in front of a large audience or presenting in English sometimes, right? So, and now this has to do with being an expert or not being an expert. All of those things I just mentioned, and then there's another one that's very good for you to do is a local user group, right? A local user group always needs speakers. So you can always come to a local user group, even if there's another speaker going on. You can come in and say, can I speak for 5 minutes? I have this presentation coming up. Can I speak for 5 minutes just kind of to give you the idea? So all of those places are placed there. And there's also universities near your house. There is, any other group of places where developers are, right? Co-working places, for example, where you could have, you could reserve a room and say, hey, everyone, I know you guys are busy doing something here, but I'm going to present a really quick talk about 15 minutes about this topic here. If you want to come here, right? So that's another thing that could work on a co-working place. There's all kinds of places where you can get an audience that's willing to, in a short notice, come and watch what you have to say. And in all of this situation, you, the experts, well, maybe you're organizing your talk so you can become an expert, right? But you don't have to be like this huge expert that has hundreds of people watching the talk. No, you're talking an interesting subject to a bunch of people. They're interested in that subject, and you just know a little bit more than they do. That's the key, right? This is the key of expertise. An expert is someone that knows more than other people about a certain topic. That's an expert. But if you're getting a group of people that know nothing about the topic, the little bit that you know, it helps them understand that topic, and the little bit that you know helps you understand better the topic. You see, so the truth is, you don't have to be an expert, a worldwide expert, to be a speaker. You only need to know a little bit more than the audience. You have to have done some more experiments or have learned a little bit more. So, and that is valuable content, right? That's very valuable content. One thing that I like to say a lot is that, think about it. If you spend 1 week, learning anything, right? Let's say you know nothing about Java, right? And then you spend 1 week learning Java. Well, if you can get that 1 week and turn into a 15-minute talk, you can help other people that also want to learn Java, and they don't have a week to learn it, right? So, and I'm using Java as an example, but anything, right? Artificial intelligence or big data or whatever. If you spend some time on the topic, you can really get everything you learn on that time, and it could be just references. Okay, so I spent 1 week learning Java, and here's the basic of the language. Here's the reference that I learned it from, and I do suggest from all of those here, this one here is great for you to start, right? So you don't have to be an expert. You need to be one step ahead of your audience, and that's going to make a big difference. All right? So if you come here waiting for Rebecca to talk, right? I'm just gonna. I know some people join later. So Rebecca could not make it today. So we are here answering your questions, right? We are here answering your questions. So so come here, ask questions. What is the biggest challenge? That's my question to you. What is the biggest challenge you're going on right now in your presentation, right? Or in your career or in your life, right? That we can talk about. So let me kind of go over some of the questions here. Basru says, what's the best approach to invite people to join your Java group? All right. I'm doing the speaker secrets. I'm inviting people. How do you approach? Oh, so Basru, so there's two things, right? Invite people to join your user group or invite people to come talk at your user group. There's two different things, right? So I'm gonna talk about both things. It doesn't matter what you want to do. If you want to bring people in to listen to you or to help you out in any way, you have to help them. That's really important, right? You have to help them. There's people don't come here because it's your user group. People don't come here because it's you, Baslu. People don't come here because it's me, Bruno. People come here because they have a problem, right? You guys want to become a better speaker. That's a problem that you have. So you're looking for opportunities and ways for you to become a better speaker. That's why you come here. You don't come here to listen to me, or, you don't even come here to listen to Rebecca, right? Of course, that's the reason why you came, but, you're still here. She didn't come, and you're still here. Why? Because it's about what you need, right? You have a problem with your presentation. You need to be here. You need to listen to, you need to ask questions. That's why, so it's valid for you to be here. So people come, Baslu, to your user group or to your presentation because they have a problem and you need to solve that problem, right? That's why they come to your user group. So if your user group doesn't help people, people are not going to come, right? And now you're saying, but Bruno, I was really asking about how do I invite people to come to talk, right? Well, it's exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. The reason why the Java champions are coming here for the Speaker Secrets initiative is because they think it's a great initiative, right? It is something that they want to do. All the Java champions, they go around, and not all of them, but a lot of Java champions, they go around and they help other people to speak, right? The Java champions are responsible for bringing other people into the Java champions program. So they're always looking up for speakers. They're also always looking up, for people that are sharing their knowledge, right? The Java champions speakers, they go to events, they meet other speakers. And when they meet other speakers, they get, they become friends with other speakers. So they want to be around speakers, right? Sorry. So they want to be around speakers. So for them, it's important to foster the idea of of speaking, right, or of speakers. So, but to go alone and kind of do one presentation somewhere and say, oh, I'm going to talk to speakers here, it's not easy, right? Because there's not a lot of speakers wanting to go to an event to watch a presentation about being a speaker. So when someone, in this case me, right, when someone creates an effort, right, and promotes the effort and creates a website and invites people and do all of this, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work to do all of these things here. So when someone is willing to take the work to do this, I'm actually helping all those speakers that want to share their knowledge of speaking. You see, so the reason they are here is because there is something here for them. So in a way, I'm helping them out to do this. So that's what you need to do, Baslu. You need to think, what is the speakers, what is that they want, right? They want an audience. They want people. They want, they want to be part of something. So once you make that possible, you do all the work and make that possible. Basically, you are helping those speakers achieve their goals, right? And when you're helping those speakers achieve their goals, what happens is they come to speak. And because they come to speak, you're now helping the audience achieving their goals, that's to learn. So can be the catalyst to merge those two needs into something that makes sense, right? But you have to think about what is it make sense for everyone. If what you do doesn't make sense for everyone, then they're not going to be willing to do it. Make sense? So that's how you do it. And once you plan something that makes sense for everyone, you invite people. Say, hey guys, come on. Hey everyone, come here, right? All right. So Sebastian asked, do you feel more pressure when you know people paid to attend the conference versus a free event? Well, you know, I think it's a question of responsibility, right? And the pressure for me, the pressure is the same, right? When people paid to come to the event or people coming to a free event, for me, they're audience, right? They are here, and that is my so my objective is to be here for you. You are here watching. You're asking questions. I want to be here for you. It doesn't matter if you pay to be here or if you come here for free. I'm here for you, right? That is what I believe the main reason why we actually why we actually do what we do. You know why we do things live, why we come to events, is because I can be here for the audience. Make sense? So the pressure comes from what is it the audience needs, what the audience wants, right? So, that is the important part, right? Be here for the audience, right? So I have to overcome my fears. You know, I'm afraid of coming on stage. I'm always afraid of coming on stage, right? I'm afraid of not using slides. You know, it's for me like, oh man, I'm not gonna use slides again. Is that the right thing to do? People expecting slides, you know, but I want to be here for you. Right, so I have to overcome my fears so I can be here for you. I can open up for questions. One of the big challenges that everyone mentions is questions. You know, I'm afraid of receiving questions from others. It's scary because you don't know what people are going to ask. Right, so I have to overcome these fears so I can be here for you. Now, if someone paid to come to an event, they're more committed for the event than if someone came for free. That is not true for absolutely. Maybe there's someone that said, but they couldn't afford to go to a paid event and they came to a free event. That's totally fine, right? But you know, level of commitment. If someone paid for their own pockets, it's one level of commitment. If the company paid them, it's another level of commitment, right? If they come for free, it's another level of commitment, right? But it doesn't matter if you paid or not. The reason that you are here, that is the commitment, right? You came here, you know, you paid for an event. You paid like $2,000 to come to an event. But with all the talks going on, you came to my talk. That's commitment, right? That's your commitment to me. And because you have a commitment to me, I have a commitment to you, right? That's why I'm here. That's why I will be here for you, with you, to help you solve your problem, right? So that's a way to look at, right? So someone that paid for their own pockets to come to an event, that person has a lot of commitment. And when they come to the events, and they pay a lot of money and they didn't choose someone else's talk and came to your talk to watch then you have a lot of commitments, right? It's reciprocal. So it's not about pressure. It's about you understanding that, you know, and by the way, in any event that you go, there will be people that didn't pay. There will be people that was paid by the company. And there will be people that paid with their own pockets. Even in a free event, Even on a free event, there's going to be people that, they're there because their company sent them there. Oh, that's a good event today. You go, right? And they're like, oh man, I had other things to do, but I'm going to go, right? There's other people that are going to actually take vacations to go to free events, right? So events, for example, that happens on Saturdays or Sunday, the guy's commitment, I mean, they're open up their commitment from their family to come to your talk, right? And so there's people like Bazlur. Bazlur is like in Bangladesh. I don't even know what time it is right now. So what time it is for you, Bazlur? But it's like mid of the night, right? And even in the middle of the night, I think, maybe. Sometimes Bazlur comes to presentation in the middle of the night for him. So that's commitment, right? You're committed to come. So don't consider free or paid to be the commitment, man. The commitment is their time, their attention, their focus, So that's the thing you have to think. So you can gauge this on the audience, right? You can talk with people and see why they're there and make the right thing for them. Okay? So it's not about the pressure on you. Yeah, so for Brazil, it's like 11 o'clock at night. And he's here talking to us, right? For some people, it's early in the morning. They're here talking to us. That's great. So that's commitment. And you have to, my opinion is that you as a speaker, you have to honor that commitment back, right? So you be here. You help him out as much as you can because he's committed to be here and you're committed to be here. All right? Hope that answers you, Sebastian. So Anna says, I just sent my first submission in live to the Developers Conference, the conference that happens here in Brazil. And the next Developers Conference is going to be in December in Porto Alegre. So I think it's very important to practice before the presentation, right? Yes, Anna, it's very important to practice. Very important to practice, right? Because we don't get good. We don't, it's okay. Let me tell you something. A lot of people understand that presentations is a soft skill, right? Presentation is a soft skill. A lot of people think that software development, it's a hard skill, right? So hard skill, software development, presentation, soft skill. So we should focus on the hard skill and not on the soft skill. So that's not how it works, right? The truth is, both presentations and software development, soft skills, right? There are things in a presentation that is a hard skill. And there are things in software development that is a hard skill. But what's the difference between a soft skill and a hard skill? A hard skill is something that's precise, that every time you do it the same way. Typing is a hard skill, right? You practice by repeating it many times, right? Because you have to, you can't miss a type, right? The faster you type, you can go faster in typing, very accurate, right? That's a hard skill. Okay, so a language, the knowledge of Java, that is a hard skill, right? It's a hard skill. So Anna says the presentation is a very hard skill for me. No, it's not hard because it's difficult, Anna. That's not the concept. It's not hard because it's difficult. Hard and soft skills hard skills are precise. Every time you do it, you do exactly the same way. That's a hard skill, right? Every time you type a key in the keyboard, you do exactly the same way. And every time you type, public static void main it's exactly movement of your fingers. You can't miss that. It's precise, right? That's a hard skill. A soft skill, so it's not about difficulty. Both skills, soft and hard, are difficult, right? Now, a soft skill is something that varies every time you do. A soft skill requires you to notice the situation and change the way you do it in a different situation. Okay? So, uh, so programming, software development is a soft skill because you never do the same thing twice, right? I mean, you're looking around and see, oh, how am I going to solve that problem? Make sense? So there are things in software development that are hard skill, right? For example, how do I apply a design pattern? It's a little bit of hard skill because you have to know the design pattern. That's a very specific, very, very precise thing. But it has a soft skill component on it because you have to understand how do I apply that design pattern to this problem, right? This could be a hard skill, but how to apply it's a soft skill. Make sense? So presentation, it's a soft skill. When you walk into the audience, you look around and you see, hey guys, hi everyone, right? A different audience. It's a different vibe in the room. Right? They're gonna laugh for jokes. They're gonna ask questions. They're gonna do there's different things. So it's a soft skill. How do you get better in a soft skill? Many times. You gotta do it from different audience. You gotta do in different ways. That's how you get a soft skill. That's how you improve a soft skill. So your question about practice is important. Practice is amazing. Practice everything. Because you have to come and you have to talk with different people. You have to talk with different audience. You have to do this. Otherwise, nothing's going to work. Right? So yes, go practice. Practice where? My suggestion, easy. Find a technical school near you and go present your talk. Next week. Oh, my talk is not accepted yet. Doesn't matter. Go practice. Oh, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about yet. No, it doesn't matter. Sketch something. Make sense? You got to practice immediately. Go practice with your friends. Go practice with your family, right? Go practice with anyone. Just start talking. Start talking about the subject. That's going to help you start understanding what works, what doesn't work. Okay? Make sense? Then she says, I'm afraid about the questions. And if I don't know the answer for them. Yes, there's a lot of people asking about questions. There's a lot of people asking about what are the what about the questions, and that's true. It's scary. Now, the thing is, first of all, what if I don't know the answer? You say, I don't know the answer. Was that hard? So Anna, type it to me. I don't know the answer. Just type it right there in the chat. I don't know the answer. Right? Type it. I want you, Anna, to type it to me right now. I don't know the answer. Enter. I want you to tell everyone here that you don't know the answer about anything. Doesn't matter what it is. It's important that we are okay in saying, I don't know the answer. It's fine. It's okay. We don't need to be the topmost expert on everything to be a speaker. We don't need to be like this person that knows everything, right? So there's going to be things you don't know. And you got to be comfortable with saying, I don't know the answer. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Anna. Yes, it's very important that you say it, right? And then you say aloud. You're saying on the chat, but I want you to say aloud, I don't know the answer. Be comfortable with the fact that you don't know everything. So all of you here, say it aloud. Doesn't matter where you are right now. Just say it aloud. I don't know the answer. Yeah, let people around you look like you're crazy, man. Yes, I don't know the answer, right? You got to be comfortable with that. Seriously. Because now that you're comfortable with saying I don't know the answer, you're going to be knowing the answer. Because you know what? My experience is almost 100% of the questions that people ask you, you know the answer. Because they're going to ask questions about the things that you're just talking about. They're not going to be asking questions about other things, right? You can say, look, that thing you just mentioned, I never use it, or I never experimented with that. That's okay. And you know what? One thing that I like to do a lot, if someone asks a question that I really don't know what it is or don't know the answer, it's like complete top of my mind, like I'll ask, does anyone knows about this stuff that this guy asking? And more often than not, there's someone in the audience that knows, yes, I know this answer, then he answers. And that's okay. Right? That's because presentation is a conversation. Presentation is not about you vomiting your knowledge on top of people. It's about a conversation. They ask you things, you answer things. And if you don't know, someone else might know. And if no one knows, you can say, look, I'm going to research more about this and I'll send you an email. Is that okay? Good. So don't be afraid of not knowing the answer. Thing, right? Don't be afraid. The one thing that you should not do is invent, right? Don't try to come up with something that makes no sense, right? Don't try to answer something that you have no idea what it is. You might say, look, I'm not so sure, but I remember reading something about this. But don't pretend you know everything. Make sense, Anna? All right. So, yeah, we're almost at the top of the hour here. I just want to make sure to answer all the questions. So Rodrigo is saying, I did this, present at a meetup with my backup talk from last TDC. It was a very nice experience to improve my talk. Yes, every time that you go and present your talk, that's going to be great. That's really going to be helpful because you're going to come in and you're going to be able to experiment, really, because it makes a big difference, right? Experimenting your talk makes a big difference. Every time you present something, then what happens is that when you say it, when you talk to people, you're gonna see, well, that didn't sound very right, did it? I think that this whole discussion about about Java being platform independent, I think it should come before I talk about the Java virtual machine, right? Not after, or maybe, I don't know. So when you talk about something, it helps you think if it makes sense. For example, if you're presenting something, right, and then you say, it's gonna come up with great, just generic examples here, right? So you're presenting something, and you start talking about the garbage collector of Java, and then talk about the Java virtual machine, and then you talk about, Java being multi-platform, and you're like, well, now when I'm talking about Java being multi-platform, I'm having to explain things that I was supposed to explain before, but I couldn't explain because no one understood about the multi-platform thing. So actually, what about if I get this part of multi-platform talk first, and then when I talk about garbage collection, I talk about virtual machines, I can tie back into the multi-platform part. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. I'm going to do this instead of what I'm doing now. That's how you prepare a presentation, right? You don't prepare a presentation by just doing slides. You prepare a presentation by presenting it. That's a soft skill, right? That's a soft skill, Anna. A soft skill is something that you get better by doing it. By looking around and see the people's eyes, like, oh, I get it. Oh, they got when I said this. This is important what I'm doing, right? So you see on the people's face that they are understanding. So if all you do is you be at home on your computer preparing your slides, you don't get this feedback, so you can improve your presentation. Make sense? All right. So some more questions. We are at the top of the hour now, but let's see if I miss any of the questions here. So Ray, I didn't see a question from you yet. Who else didn't ask questions? That's a good moment. That's a good chance. How to prepare and send a submission to an event. Okay, that's a good one. So it's a little bit of mixed things, right? First of all, um, you have to choose a topic, right? And choosing a topic, it's you know, it's something that people kind of struggle with, right? So the best way for you to choose a topic is to look around and see things. First of all, things that you are interested in. So do you want to learn something new? Are you trying to experiment something in your project? Are you actually experimenting something in your project? That's a good thing, right? Things that you are interested in. Second thing is take a look at things that the conference it's interested in, right? So you know you're going to submit to an event, right? To I don't know, Code One for example, and you know it's who's the audience, right? Oh, the audience is mostly Java developers. Good. So what Java developers are interested in? Oh, I'm going to submit to TDC to a specific track, right? So what is the track looking for, right? So try to find out. So things that you like, things that you're interested in, things that the conference is interested in, right? And then look around and you can see things that people are struggling with. Go on Google, right? And so guys, okay, I'm interested in artificial intelligence. There's going to be a track about artificial intelligence. So go online and see what is it people asking things about, right? What is the thing that people don't understand about artificial intelligence? Or what is the thing that people don't understand about applying artificial intelligence to robotics? You know, go search, go online. If you don't see anything online, go on your social media and ask, hey guys, I want to talk about applying artificial intelligence to robotics. Have you ever had any problem with that? See what people tell you. So all of those things are going to give you an idea of what are problems that need to be solved. What are problems that people are looking for, right? What problems that people are interested in. Okay? So do a little bit of research. Just don't come out of your mind. Actually, another way, look around at things that you did. Look at things that project that you implemented, project that you did in the last 6 months, in the last year, and say, let me see what things that I did and that worked or didn't work. So all of these is inspiration for topics. Okay? So now you're going to write, now you choose a topic, right? You choose one topic. And so now you have to write abstract for the talk to submit to the conference. So when you write an abstract, you have to think about, you know, what interests the audience. What are the things that audience is going to be interested about? Because the abstract is not about you. It's not about your topic. It's about the audience. You know, the abstract is a weird thing because it's going to be read by the audience to select your talk. So it has to focus, but also it's going to be read by the selection committee to select your talk. So your abstract has to appeal both to the audience and to the selection committee at the same time, right? The good thing is that the selection committee understands that the audience is what matters. So the selection committee is going to read your abstract from the point of view of the audience to see if your talk is going to be good or not, right? So, you know, so you write something that will attract the right person to come to your talk, right? For this, there's a little thing that I've learned with a copywriter, and I'm trying to remember his name now. I'll remember in a minute. But Neville Medora, right? He has a trick to write good text, and it's called IDA. Yeah, you call IDA, right? IDA. I'm just going to type here. You call IDA. Okay, so IDA means attention, interest, desire, action. Attention, interest, desire, action. So IDA is amazing for you to write your presentation submission. You know, attention. What can you write to grab people's attention? That's one phrase. One phrase of attention. What can you talk to okay, you know, I don't know. Learn artificial intelligence today. Or artificial intelligence on robotics is the best thing for your career. That's attention, right? Oh, interesting. Then interest, right? So now you give some facts, some information that get people interested in this. I don't know. Last year, there were, the best paying jobs on the market were artificial intelligence on robotics jobs. I'm coming up with something here, right? You say something that's true, of course, right? So you put something that makes that thing interesting. Then desire. You get the person to want that, right? You help them want that. So do you want to work on the best paying jobs in the industry? Right? You too can work in the best jobs in the industry. If you're a Java developer, you too can work in the best jobs in the industry. That's desire, right? And then action. What is the action that you want people to take? Right? Come to my talk. Come to this talk to learn the best, the best way to apply artificial intelligence to robotics, for example, right? So that IDA is a great way for you to write submission abstractions. So you do this, one sentence for attention, one sentence for interest, one sentence for desire, one sentence for action, right? You think about what is the thing that actually, I'm kind of making a very generic example here, right? But if you're going to do more technology based, maybe part of what you have to do is talk about the technology you're going to talk about, right? You're going to reference the things that you're going to show. That might be what people desire, what people, what's gonna call attention to what you're going to talk about, right? So that's the important thing, right? And so Bas will say, how about writing the main idea and then keep a printed version in hand while we talk? I think that helps us to be on track. So a lot of people do this, okay, Basler? A lot of people have like notes in one way or another, right? So a lot of speakers kind of write speaker notes, for example, and they have the slides on the screen and the speaker notes in front of the computer in front of them. That works. A lot of people use index cards, right? I'm trying to see if I can find an index card. I have lots of index cards here, but I don't see anyone around me. But lots of people have index cards that they follow index cards. I've done presentations in the past where I have like 5 or 6 index cards, and those were my slides, right? So that works. People do this on the slides. You having your slides, and then you look on your computer. You have this the slide right now, and the next slide on the computer, and then you have only the right now slide on the projector. So you see what the next slide is, so you can keep up. That's another way of doing it, right? So yes, all of the things that you can do to help you kind of stay on track, it's it's great, right? That's very, you have to. So here's the thing, you have to be there for people. That's the point, right? You have to be there for people. You have to be there to help them out in whatever problem they're going through. That's why you submit a presentation. Right? So that's the connection to the whole thing, right? You submit a presentation. Someone watched that description and said, oh, we want this type of public in our event. So they approve your presentation. So someone looks at what you wrote and said, oh, I have a problem related to this. So I'm going to watch your talk. So they come to your talk. Now you are there to help them improve your talk. That is your job. That is your commitment. So when you show up, you got to be your best self. So if you need notes to be your best self, great. If you need slides to be your best self, great. If you need live coding to be your best self, great. Whatever it takes for you to help those people to achieve their goals, that's what you need to do. That's your responsibility. So if notes works for you, that's great. Use notes. Okay. Okay, so there's a couple of more sophisticated questions here, but I want to go back here to Anna's question. How was your first presentation experience? So Anna, I read your question when you first typing in, and I was thinking here while I was answering Basler, I was trying to think about when was my very, very first presentation experience. And, you know, I'm sure it was something in high school and I had to present some kind of work. And I was okay, so let me tell you this. I'm very, very shy. For me, it's very hard to come in front of an audience and say anything, right? You know, the only reason why I'm able to do it is because I know those people are there to watch the topic I'm talking about. That's why they're there, right? That's why I can force myself. But you know, for a strange audience, I don't know why they're there. I'm very, very shy. Very hard for me to do this. So I don't remember exactly my very, very first presentation, like professional presentation. But I know that every time I present in the beginning of my career, I was very afraid, very, very afraid. I remember, for example, at high school when I was and we, you know, I was an exchange student in the U.S. and you know the exchange student group invited me and a couple other people to come to a classroom to talk about being an exchange student, right? And talk about our experience with our countries. And man, I was shaking so much. It was terrible. It was terrible. You know, I was answering questions, but I was like, oh, I don't want to be here. I want to hide. So I remember being very hard for me. And I know that when my very first presentations, you know, when I think about when I start becoming a job evangelist, way back when, 1995, 1996, and I would go in front of a group to present anything, I know it was bad. It was really bad. And, you know, I was afraid. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I would have slides and kind of just read what was in the slides. But then what happened was that I had to do this many times. Many, 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 many times. And you know what really changed it for me? What really made a big difference for me? Sun had this program called the Internet Associate Program, IAP. And that program, it was a two-year long program. So every month we had a 1 day, full day, like 8 hours presentation to the exactly same people for 2 years. Like we're talking about, you know, 20 of those presentations to the same people, like 28 hours presentation for the same people. And so I could never repeat a topic. I could never repeat a topic because they're the same people, the same audience, right? That's one thing. And I had to talk for 8 hours. Well, it wasn't 8 hours, like more like 6 hours, right? Let's say, you know, 6 hours on that particular topic every month, right? So by the end of it, I was really good. You know, I was really good in actually coming in, learn a new topic, talk with people, and having discussions and answering questions and all of this, right? So I forced myself to do it because I had to. So I think this is, you know, going out and doing it is what makes all the difference. Sebastian says, how to manage expectation. For example, Oracle Code 1, the level of the talk, beginning to major expert, is not shown. So if your talk is aimed for beginners, but advanced people shows up instead. Well, it all relates to the title of your topic and to the description of your talk, right? So if the title of your presentation, it's advanced title, and oh, we're going to go deep into blah, blah, blah. People are going to expect that to be a deep talk. If your presentation is more like introduction to something, then people can expect to be an introduction, right? So if your presentation is very generic and anyone can come to it, that's your fault. Sorry, you wrote it, right? If anyone can come to your presentation, you wrote it, so it's your fault, okay? So let's deal with that situation. You wrote it, it's your fault, there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, so now what is that you're gonna do, right? You're gonna come to your presentation, and if it's very generic, anyone can come, you have to bring enough things for everyone. You have to. There's no such thing as, oh, I'm just going to talk to the experts. I'm just going to talk to the beginners. There's no such thing. Even if you wrote introduction to something, there's going to be some expert people in it. Of course, right? Of course, they want to see who you are. Think about it. You might give a presentation to beginners, and then there's someone in the audience that says, oh, I'm looking to hire someone on artificial intelligence. Let me go see if this guy's good. So he is an expert, and he's coming to watch you, and this might be the most important person in the room. So it doesn't matter. You have to go from beginning all the way to very, 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 a lot of expertise. So in your presentation, you have to say something for the beginners, something for people that understand this a little bit more, and something for the people that knows a lot. Of course, the people that knows a lot, they will see you going deeper and deeper. So they'll know all of those stuff, but they're going to be surprised to learn something new or to go very deep at some point, right? Now, the beginner, they will follow you because you're going to bring them by the hand, and they're going to start with the beginner part, and they're going to go, and go deeper, 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 and they're going to follow you. They might not be able to apply absolutely everything you talk about, but they're going to be able to understand the whole thing because you're bringing them with you. And the guys in the middle are going to find it great too, right? So you can prepare that. You can go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. The problem that I see is when people assume, oh, everyone is an expert, so I'm just going to go deep immediately. And when they go deep immediately, they lose everyone. Now, there's even the people that they know a little bit about that, they couldn't follow you because you just go deeper immediately. So go, even if it's fast, but get everyone by the hand and walk them through the path of going deeper and deeper and deeper. All right? And of course, another mistake is that you assume, oh, just because I'm beginners, I can't go deep. And then you leave something that it's so easy that everyone was able to understand immediately, and they don't see the excitement of it. They miss the excitement of it because it's all just generic. It's all just kind of, you fail to show the big picture. You fail to show the excitement thing, and the excitement thing is deeper. Make sense? So in your talks, always make sure that you have a little bit for everyone. How to behave when doing your presentation. Someone asks something about the topic you're talking about, and you're supposed to know, but you do not know the answer. All right. So if you're doing a presentation, someone, well, first of all, I'm not very sure if you're supposed to know, but you don't know. Well, so so maybe you're not too much of an expert in that thing, right? Because if you're supposed to know, you don't know. Well, that's then something's missing from your knowledge. That's okay. That's totally okay. You can say, look, I have no idea what that thing is. And then you say, oh, come on. How let's say, for example, come on. How you're talking about Java and the advances of Java, but you know nothing about garbage collection? How can you know Java if you don't know about garbage collection? Well, it's like, well, you know what? I've been working with Java for a year now, and I never had any need for garbage collection knowledge. So maybe it's not as important as you think it is. You don't need to say that, but think about it. Well, if you've been working with that thing for some time and you don't know about it, maybe it's not as important as the person is making it look like, right? But okay, I have an example. A few years ago, a few years ago, we're having a discussion about containers, right? And someone asked on the chat like this. There was a discussion like this. There's lots of people watching, and we're talking about containers. And someone on the chat asked, "How about K8S?" And I'm like, well, someone is asking, and I was me and my friends, and I said, someone is asking about K8S. Do you know anything about it? I asked it to him, to Edson. And Edson said, oh, yes, let me talk a little bit about Kubernetes. And I'm like, oh, man, I know Kubernetes. I'm doing things with Kubernetes, but that's the first time I saw someone call it K8S, right? Yes, it showed that Edson had a much more in-depth knowledge of Kubernetes than I had, right? And that's true even today, right? Many years after that, still very true. And so, you feel like, oh man, dumb me, right? I should have known that, right? You feel like ashamed a little bit on the time, but that's okay. That's totally okay. If Edson wasn't there, I would have asked it. I'd have no idea what K8S is. And then the person is going to say, okay, K8S is Kubernetes. Oh, yes, I can talk about Kubernetes. So if someone asks you something that you don't know what it is, you can say, I don't know what that is. Can you explain what it is? Can you explain your question? And then from what they say, maybe, oh, I never heard about saying that way that you just mentioned, but I know what that thing is, like I would have done with Kubernetes. But on the other hand, maybe the person talked about something, you say, okay, so yeah, that's completely out of my knowledge. I have no idea. And that's it. I have no idea. Repeat, Marcelo. I don't know the answer to this. Yes, we made the exercise earlier, right? I don't know the answer to this. That's okay. It's totally okay that you don't know the answer of something. And if that makes you ashamed, right? That's okay too. It's part of it. It's part of being a speaker that we're gonna mess up from time to time, and yes, we're gonna be ashamed from time to time, right? So it's part of being a speaker, right? So don't worry too much. Don't beat yourself too much for not knowing absolutely everything about everything, and that's okay. All right? Okay. So Rodrigo's asking, how can I create a good title for my presentation? Should I need to mention my solution framework technology? Well, a good title is something that calls attention from people, right? And the title helps you define your audience, right? So when you say 3 mistakes Java developers make, so the audience is Java developers. Or when you say, basics of big data for, right? So you're defining your audience as Java developers that don't know big data, right? So the title can help you filter out your audience. The best titles are those that people say, this is for me. Those are the best titles, right? When someone is looking at the catalog of an event and they say, oh, this talk here is for me. I need this. When they see that, I need this, then they come to your presentation, right? So a title attracts the right people to your talk. So that is a good title. It's the one that attracts the right people to your talk. So a lot of people try to do fancy and like crazy sounding topics, or maybe like smart titles, like I don't know, like songs, for example, or like play with words. All of those things, if it helps select your audience, that's good. If it doesn't help select your audience, if it confuses people, what is it you're going to talk about? If they have to go to the description to think if they're interested or not. I mean, well, people have to go to the description to see if they're interested or not. But if they have to go to the description to see if that thing is for them or not, they're not going to go to the description, right? People read the title, and they decided from the title, they decided this is for me, right? They look at it and say, this is for me. When they say this is for me, they're going to read the abstract to see if it's worthwhile for them to come to conference to the talk, right? But if they don't, if they're looking at the title and they say that's not for me, that's not for me, that's not for me, that's not for me, so they already skipped your title, so they're not going to read the description. You see how it works? But if I'm on a track like TDC, can I skip this part? Of course, yes. If you're in a, so there's events and events, right? Each event has a different thing. So TDC is a different concept. The developers conference is divided by tracks. When it's divided by tracks, people don't select the track because of your talk. You got that? They don't select the track because of your talk. They select the track because of the track. So the fact that your talk is part of the track, they're going to watch your talk. People on TDC, they go for a track. They don't go for your talk. They don't select, oh, I'm not gonna watch this talk, I'm gonna watch this one. No, they don't. They select the track. So the track is the important thing. Your talk has to make sense so people select the track, right? And so in your title for an event like this, you have to help the organizer of the track to have cool talks that make sense on the track. Make sense? Now, when you go to an event where it's open, when people can go to different talks, then the title of your presentation is a lot more important because people are going to select your presentation, not the other presentation, because of the title. Okay? And yes, if you know the event is a Java event, right? You don't have to mention Java developers in the title because you know everyone is a Java developer because it's the focus of the event, right? So in a Java track, for example, an artificial intelligence track. In an artificial intelligence track, you don't have to say artificial intelligence in the title because it's an artificial intelligence track. So every single talk there is about it. It's focused on artificial intelligence people, right? You know, you can go deeper into the subject because now you know everyone there is interested about that topic. Okay? And that actually shows you that titles are conference specific. You can have the same presentation more than one conference. That's okay, not a problem. But sometimes it's better that you have different titles for the same presentation, depending on what conference you go. Right? Because it will attract different people. So, for example, if you're going to a Java conference, you can say you cannot say Java in the title. But if you go to a developer conference, maybe you have to say Java in the title to filter out non-Java developers, right? So you have to think about the conference. Okay, this is worth to practice the presentation before ready to present. Yeah, to present to your wife or friends. Yes, it's always worth to present. Okay, so this phrase that I heard from a philosopher, it's very good phrase. You have to think about it. You think that you think when you think, but you only speak. Right? So when you talk to someone, you will. When you talk to someone, you help your thinking. So even if you talk to someone that don't understand what you're talking about, it helps you think better. I'm not sure if your wife is so willing to listen to you talk about things that she doesn't understand. But if your wife understands a little bit what you're doing, depends. You know, lots of people have their wives, for example, understand a lot more of what they're talking about than themselves do, right? You know, we just had a couple, Andres Almire and Ixchel Ruiz, this week, right? So they're both Java champions, right? Or, you know, Yara Sanger and Vinicius Sanger, I mean, they're both Java champions. I mean, you know, they can they can present to each other. They both going to be very good at understanding what's going on, right? But sometimes, you know, your wife or your friends, they don't really understand what you're talking about. So I'm not sure if they're willing to listen to you and pay attention to you, right? But it is worth, even if they don't understand, go talk with your 2-year-old kids, right? You know, he's going to be happy in you talking to him, and you can practice, because by saying it, it helps you think, right? So yes, it is worth to practice that way, Marcelo. That's actually why we have the rubber duck debugging technique, right? Have you ever heard of rubber duck debugging? It's a technique where you talk to a rubber. So even the rubber duck can understand. It can help you think, right? So yes, it is worthwhile to do this, even if they don't understand. Now, if you're gonna do this with someone that do not understand the technical thing, it's on you, the obligation to really help them understand, because you want them to be interested. And that is how you practice being a good speaker. You get someone that will not understand that thing, and you get them interested. You grab their attention. They're not there just to listen to you. They're there because you're making the effort to get them to understand the topic, right? And so this will make you a better speaker, because you're going to be talking to your audience. And if your audience does not understand what you're talking about, you have to make them understand. That is an amazing practice. How do I present my talk to someone that cannot understand my talk? That's an amazing practice by itself, right? But you have to think about your audience. Don't think about just your talk. Think about your audience all the time, okay? It is a lot harder. It is a lot harder to get someone that doesn't understand the topic to be interested in your talk. Yes. So, you know, it's something that you can do. That's great. All right. So, I mean, we are way over an hour now, and I want to be conscious of your time. I don't see any more questions. I'm going to be here answering as many questions as you guys have, and I can stay here for as long as is needed. But I want to be conscious of your time, and if you don't have any more questions, so, you know, I'm going to briefly talk about the Speaker Seekers Initiative, so you can have a few minutes to ask more questions. But if you don't have any more questions, we're gonna start ending this here. So, you know, if you haven't been at the Speaker Seekers Initiative yet, you know, you have received an email with a password and a login for the Speaker Seekers portal. So if you have not received it, you can go to, let me type the URL here. If you have not received it, you can go to, you can go here and you can register for it. The Speaker Seekers Initiative it's an important initiative where we're bringing the top speakers in the Java community to come here, help you improve your presentation. No matter the technology you're working on, no matter what is that you're doing, we're just talking to from speakers to speakers. Okay, so you should follow what we're doing on because we have almost every day we have a top speaker come here discussing with you. You know, we apologize that today Robert could not join us, but she's going to come here next week. But every day we're going to have a different speaker helping you, coaching you to become a better speaker. So while we're doing this, right, it's important that you ask questions. So go to the website, ask your question, go to the portal, see all of the people that already did. We already have like several people already, there several interviews there. You know, use this resource to improve your presentation, because we want you to be an amazing speaker, because that's going to be amazing for your career, but it also is going to be amazing for everyone that comes to your talk, because they're going to learn the things they need to learn to improve our community, right? So, and so, you know, if you already have access, Rodrigo just put the URL there. You can go there and access directly. if you don't have access, you can come in and go to the main website and register there, and you're going to receive an email. If you can't find your email, or if you don't see the email, or if you didn't register yet, come to the main website and you can get an email with the access to the portal. Okay? All right. So I don't see any more questions. If you have more questions, please follow me at BRJavaman on Twitter. Ask me questions on Twitter, or send me an email. You got my email. Send me an email with any question that you have, because we are going to be here to help you become better speakers and better presenters, right? So Basler is saying, how about a new initiative? Once this one, you invite top Java developers, champions to make our Java code better. That could be a great idea, Basler. That could be an amazing thing to do. It doesn't need to wait this thing to finish, because I don't know when that's going to finish, right? You can that could be something to be done if someone wants to do it, for example. So that could be a great idea. Yes, Basler. I think that's anything that helps other people become better at what they want to become better at. I think that's an amazing idea for us to implement. Okay. All right. Rodrigo just put my Twitter over there. If you don't follow me on Twitter yet, just click there and follow me. All right, I don't see any more questions. Thank you very much. It was amazing to have you all here. This video is going to go directly to the speakers portal, so you can go there and get the information there. And it's going to be great to be with you. So yes, Rodrigo saying that Rafael Del Nero is a new Java champion, and so he might be very interested in this. Yes. So thank you very much. Go to the speakers portal. Learn from the top speakers how you can improve your talk. And we're gonna tomorrow. We're gonna have actually it's not tomorrow, right? So let me quickly see here who's gonna have this week. Right. So we're gonna have tomorrow. We don't have anyone scheduled for tomorrow. Right, but we have someone scheduled for Thursday. James Weaver, a top speaker from Pivotal, is going to be here on Thursday at the same time. And we're also going to have Simon Maple on Friday at the same time. And Simon Maple is the leader of the Virtual Java User Group. So he's a great speaker. Both of them are great speakers. So they're going to be here Thursday and Friday to talk with you. And Saturday, we're going to do a mentorship, right? I'm going to come in Saturday and mentor you on your presentation. We're going to announce that today. We're going to announce that also through the portal. Okay? Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for being here. Amazing to have y'all here. And I'll see you in one of the Speaker Secrets initiatives. Thanks a lot. Thank you.